Hi everyone, this is Group 2 and we will be presenting great leaders who make the mix work. Group 2 members are Jessica Castellanos, Sherry Johnson, Kenisha Jones, and I, Stuti Sharma. This is a Harvard Business Review where 24 CEOs were interviewed. They talked about their personal experiences and each one of them included diversity as a personal mission. The goal of the article was to understand not only why they had made diversity a strategic priority, but also how they executed on their goals and what they meant to the organization and practices. Talking about a role of personal experience, Andrea Jung, only Asian women around the table of senior executives, talked about her personal meetings outside offices where she was not considered a boss, although she was the boss. Ajay Bagga, a Sikh from India, a beard and a turban guy, had a hassled life after 9/11 attack. Carlos Ghosn had personal bias due to his personal life event where his mother was not able to complete studies due to male dominant society, which made him believe in gender equality. Another example of Jim Rogers, a white male from Kentucky, had his own hardship because of his demographic profile and southern accent. All these personal experiences and insights of the CEOs have shaped their attitudes towards diversity. Talking about persistent institutional barrier, only 4% of the companies are led by women. Another term, social cliquishness, where men tends to ignore women completely. For example, men come out of a meeting, hang out with each other, and then go out at night for drinks. Explained by Wood Staton, largest operator of McDonald's. Similar example of Jim Turley. When presenting in a board meeting, he completely ignored the three responses of a female candidate, but picked up the same response from a male candidate, which he later realized that it was completely unintentional. Women are regarded the weaker section of the society. They are often underappreciated for their work and preemptively considered not fit for the tough attitude. To summarize, gender discrimination is embedded in companies' culture. It is unintentional and unplanned.
Do women lead differently? The very thing that makes the best female leaders very successful also make them less visible. 24 of the CEOs that were interviewed, 8 of them perceived that distinction between male and female leadership styles. Some of the things that they had the distinction between, some of the pros for women were less political, less likely to define themselves by their career, more collaborative. They were able to be better listeners, more relationship oriented and empathetic and reasonable. They were able to focus more on bringing the people together to get the job done. Some for men, pros and cons. Their style was they tend to focus more on seeking the spotlight and to seek attention. Something that you can take away from this. Understanding that a good leader knows to look for the things that have gone really well and then drill them down to find the person who really did it, as opposed to just looking for whoever has a lot of accolades and just did the dance. To go back to some of the pros for women, I want you to think about some of the things that I said. Also look at the fact that when you have someone who is more focused on bringing people together to get the job done and who's able to be more collaborative, it is said that this person works best with more complex projects that are involved.
An inclusive culture is a culture that accepts different backgrounds, values, and different strengths. And it also pretty much supports the different behaviors of people with different backgrounds and different ethnicities. It gives organizations the chance to really listen to their employees, and it also gives them this sense of connectiveness when it comes to the different talents and the respect that is given to the employees from different backgrounds, it also really gives people the chance to develop a sense of richness in their career. It allows them to be valued as an individual, and it also allows the to contribute their insights to the business or the organization that they work for. One thing that was pointed out is an inclusive culture is one where everyone can come together, put their professional skills together, and perform different requirements of the job while feeling welcomed, while feeling supported, and while also feeling as though they can be rewarded and succeeding in the best of their abilities, well, succeeding at the best of their abilities at their job. Big corporations will be able to recognize the diversity and backgrounds of their employees and be able to respect different views from their employees when moving forth on different projects, and just making their employees feel very optimistic about achieving different growth opportunities and allowing their teams to operate together to form different decisions and come to different conclusions whenever it comes to promoting the business or the organization that they work for.
In the Great Leaders article, many CEOs are asked about the practices they use to effectively harness diversity within their company. One is measure diversity and inclusion. One company put questions about diversity and inclusion in their employee engagement survey, and then they compare it to other companies. Another company built a diversity and inclusion index, and they used this to determine what they're doing well and what they can improve on. Two is hold managers accountable. Merck, Nissan, General Mills make diversity inclusion goals part of their managers' performance objectives, and they make those managers report what they are personally doing to promote diversity within the company. Three is support flexible work arrangements. This can help employees balance their professional and personal lives, and this can be with flexible hours, childcare on site, and onboarding support when they've come back after leave. Four is recruit and promote from diverse pools of candidates. So one company actually tracks metrics during and after the hiring process. And then once they hire someone, they track the retention rate for different groups. This can be among women or African Americans. And another company actually implements quotas in hiring, and this is particularly in areas where they have fewer women. Five is provide leadership education. So companies can set up programs that promote leadership development for women at lower levels of organizations, but they should also allow men to attend such programs so everyone can be educated on the subtle gender biases in the workplace. Six is sponsor employee resource groups and mentoring. So it's very important that companies invest in diverse groups, and this can be putting together employee networking events, multicultural summits, or women's forums where they bring in outside speakers and CEOs can be there with their boards. Seven is offer quality role models. So companies can put women in leadership roles to attract, retain, and develop other female talent. This is a way companies can be intentional and make sure the organization is put together with leaders that represent a diverse population. And lastly, 8 is make the Chief Diversity Officer position count. So companies can do this by maximizing the effectiveness of this new role and make sure that the person in this role knows that it's not just part of their communications. They want this person to formally track the company's progress in diversity. In conclusion, insights and empathy gathered through personal experience play a vital role in shaping up the ideas of diversity and inclusion. Women's leadership skills tend to be different from men's in ways like focusing on the task rather than the attention from doing the job. And lastly, CEOs and their boards need to invest in education for their employees, recruit and hire diverse individuals in leadership roles, and set high standards for their managers to efficiently harness diversity within their companies. Thank you.